Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Alan Weber from the Mayor's Office, Wednesday morning. A lot to talk about, but I first want to talk about COVID-19. It's really still the most important part of our daily life. Be sure to wear a face cover. Be sure to wash your hands. Be sure to practice social distancing. Be sure to use hand sanitizer. Be sure to try to stay away from your face. Be sure to be mindful of other people 6 feet apart. We're still seeing large numbers of new cases in Santa Fe County and across New Mexico. We know from the data that a lot of the new outbreaks are happening on the south side of town. If you are living over there or have friends in that part of our community, remind them that some things really do work. Some things make a difference. Wearing a face cover of some kind, washing your hands, using hand sanitizer, staying 6 feet apart. If you go out to run an errand, stay safe. If you can stay home and you have a pre-existing condition, your immune system is compromised if you're older, and now we're learning if you're younger and you think you are never going to get COVID-19, now is the time to be very, very cautious. We really need to reduce the spread, and I'll tell you why. A lot depends on it. A lot depends on cutting back on the rate at which COVID-19 is spreading. It will make a huge difference for our economy. It's how we get restaurants, hotels, but also our favorite retail shops and stores. They need you to be able to go in there and spend your money locally. The only way that works is if you go in wearing a mask, if you go in being careful, practicing social distance. Those are paychecks that stay right here in Santa Fe. They're much more important than shopping over the web, going through Amazon. We want to support our local businesses, our local restaurants, our local workers. We want them to stay safe. They have to be healthy to serve us. We need to be healthy to buy from them. So please remember that. Remember the Santa Fe Promise. We've got a website. On the city's website, there's a special part talks about the Santa Fe Promise, safe, open, together. You can fill it out. If you want a button to wear where you say, I'm part of the campaign to be safe and open together, send an email to the mayor's office. We'll get you a button. Shop at the stores where they have one of these posters. Demonstrate your support for our local merchants, our local store keepers, our workers. They're trying to put food on their tables. They're trying to pay their rent. They're trying to take care of their families and their kids. The only way we do it is if we break the back of COVID-19. Right now, COVID-19 is back and it's strong. The disease is spreading and it has very serious consequences. There was data in the newspaper today saying that the death rate from COVID-19 is worse than ordinary flu. It has many long-lasting medical consequences. So remind your friends, remind your family, we have to stay safe as we reopen. It's really important to do both at the same time. If you're interested in a face covering that supports the Children's Museum, this is what they're offering. It is part of their 35th year celebration. Celebrating 35 years, it is a fundraiser, Move for the Museum. Try to raise $35, try to raise $350, try to raise $3,500. You can go to their website and sign up to be part of the fundraiser. Their sponsors are there. Their team is working hard. And it's important any time of the year, but it's really important in COVID-19 times. We've got the school district is telling us that they're being very cautious and taking community health very much to heart. So at least the first 9 weeks of school, maybe more, will be virtual. That means we need to continue to find ways to support our kids and our families, our working moms and dads. The Santa Fe Children's Museum is on the front line of offering programs and learning opportunities for kids across Santa Fe. Help them. Move for the museum. This is I'm not wearing it at the moment, but it goes over your head and becomes a face covering with their logo and their Move for the Museum program right on the face covering. So you stay safe and you support the Children's Museum both at the same time. Another interesting piece of good news I just want to share with you. We've been monitoring a competition that the MacArthur Foundation is holding, where one organization in America will get a $100 million grant from the MacArthur Foundation. And as it turns out, there are two organizations with ties to Santa Fe and New Mexico. One is the ECHO program from down in Albuquerque that takes medicine and uses telemedicine to do outreach to communities literally all over the world that are underserved by doctors and nurses and healthcare. Project ECHO is one of the candidates for this $100 million grant from MacArthur Foundation. The other is Community Solutions. Community Solutions is the organization that is sponsoring the Built for Zero effort to end chronic homelessness in cities around the country, and we are one of those cities. So if either one of those organizations wins the $100 million grant, it's going to be great for New Mexico, it's going to be great for Santa Fe, it's going to be great for the world, but a lot of credit goes to both of those organizations because they are on the forefront of recognizing that change in fundamental and systemic ways is possible, and they're in the running for major financial support, $100 million grant that will be a significant game changer either in ending homelessness or in healthcare at a distance. So congratulations to both of them. Another good thing that's going on that you should know about, it's the Battle of the Badges. Police versus fire in a good way. It's a blood drive at the Santa Fe Place Mall. There's an empty storefront by the food court Friday, July 31st, Saturday, August 1st from noon to 4:30. The police and fire departments are competing to see who can do more in the way of blood donations. So please mark it on your calendar. You can play for both teams. Give some blood for the fire department, give some blood for the police department. The point is, it's a great time to step up and give blood, donate blood for our community, and thank both fire and police for being community-minded and recognizing that they're putting themselves out there to help all of us meet the need for blood donations when the time comes. So Friday, August 31, July 31, August 1st are the dates, noon to 4:30, Santa Fe Place Mall. Go and give some blood. The big news right now is the budget. We are in serious and ongoing budget hearings. They're on every day at 1 o'clock. You can tune in and watch the Finance Committee at work as one department after another steps up to present their budget and to answer questions. The budget itself, the document, is on the city's website, so you can look at it yourself. It's a very important part of city government. The budget is how we establish the way we use the dollars, the tax dollars that you provide us to provide services back to you. This year, of course, because of COVID-19, we're dealing with severe budget revenue shortfalls. The numbers are really quite significant. If you look at what's going on overall, the overall expenditure reduction in all of our funds is in the neighborhood of $70 million, an 18% reduction from last year. In the general fund alone, it's about a $10.5 million reduction in spending, or a 10% cut. This is significant because we had been planning until COVID-19 hit for a very expansive budget for using the revenues from the expansion in the economy to pay for a lot of new programs that would be beneficial across the community. Instead, we are focusing on community investment, and it is really to the credit of our finance department, to the credit of our human resources department, our city manager, and all of our department heads who've worked incredibly hard to produce a balanced budget. In this budget, there are no further furloughs, there are no layoffs, and there are no cuts in salary other than targeted cuts in a couple of department heads. All of the workers for the city are keeping their jobs, keeping their pay, continuing to work to deliver services to you. We are, at the same time, proposing some very bold reorganizations around the theme of community investment. One idea is to take our constituent services department that answers your calls and your emails asking for problems to be resolved, and tucking constituent services into the city clerk's office. Now that elections are being conducted through the county clerk, our city clerk's office is open to become the front door of city government for you and everybody in the city to get information, ask questions, provide input, look at historical data. All of that would be tucked into the city clerk's office. We're proposing a community development department, which would combine and end the silos of many of the departments that create neighborhood livability, whether it's land use, it's economic development, it's tourism, it is recreation. Those all would be tucked together with the arts and culture department into a way of cross-department collaboration for better livability in all of our neighborhoods. The third idea for a reorganization is a community department of health and safety. Community health, community safety. And this recognizes that, particularly right now, as we're looking at issues of social and racial justice, the police department can't do all of the work all of the time. In fact, we ask our police department to do too much. We ask them to respond to all kinds of calls, 97,000 calls last year for our police department, everything from working on people who are homeless, helping them, helping people who have public health issues, whether it's emotional or behavioral health, people who are struggling in public to find their way home. They're lost. They may have a problem with their own mental health. And our police department are the folks who get called out to all of those kinds of issues. We'd much rather see a new Department of Community Health and Safety, where police, fire, community services, and our emergency management team all works together. In the budget, the police department and the fire department have some cuts to reduce spending to meet this fiscal crisis we're in. The community services department has an increase of 2%, recognizing that many, many more of the issues today that we're dealing with as a city are people-related service issues. We've got a phenomenal group of programs we need to grow and build, including the Connect program that helps families and individuals in need. We've got the MIHO program that responds to a particular kind of call for help. And we've got the Thrive program that tries to divert people who are dealing with drug use or drug abuse or addiction, keep them out of the criminal justice system, put them into treatment, so that we do a harm reduction model rather than putting people in jail for their addiction. All of these things are innovative. They're new programs for the city to build on. They represent the new ideas in the country about how to use the police department appropriately for criminal justice issues and use social workers and other trained professionals when we're trying to deal with human problems that need the help of a trained professional. So those budgets are up as well. to be voted on in the next few days. Reorganization, also reimagining city government. One way to go forward in this budget, because we have fewer resources, would simply be to cut. But we're not cutting city government, we're reimagining city government. We're looking for ways to deliver critical and valued services to you in new and innovative ways. It's a kind of public entrepreneurship rather than just cutting and hoping for the best. We're also looking at this budget as not just a plan, but a process, because we're dealing with a very volatile time in our country and in our community. The economy is volatile. The health situation with COVID-19 is volatile. It's impossible to predict from month to month whether we'll be seeing a recovery or another downturn. And so as this budget gets adopted through the City Council into effect with the end of July, you'll see regular reports coming back to the governing body and the City Council, updates on how our GRT is doing, how we're doing with the lodger's tax, whether there is a recovery that is moving us back toward having more revenues to rebuild programs, or if COVID-19 continues to grow, if we have to close things down more tightly, how we have to make cuts in the future. So this is not a budget where we adopt it, put it on a shelf, and it's done. This is a budget where there's an ongoing process. You'll be hearing more, seeing more, and contributing more in the way of information and feedback as we watch this situation very closely and see whether the economy rebounds or it begins to suffer again. We're still looking for help from the federal government. We've asked for money from the feds to help local governments under 500,000 in population. The last time the federal government wrote checks for cities, only cities with more than 500,000 population got direct checks. We got nothing. So we're hoping that a HEROES Act, which is currently stuck in the Senate, will become law, will be signed by the president, and will provide help to us so we can increase our investments in the community beyond what this budget allows. That's really the report for today. If you're interested, the council hearing, the Finance Committee hearing, starts in about 35 minutes. It's available courtesy of Joe Abeda and his fine skills with public communications and our Constituent Services Office. Please tune in and look at the budget on the city's website. This is a chance to get better educated and more informed, and also share your opinions about how your city government is using your money, your tax dollars, to serve you and the community. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Remember, we still have got to break the back of COVID-19, stop the spread. If you have friends, family, you live on the south side, the data right now tell us that the 87507 district, that census tract, is where the largest number of increased cases are to be found. So that's where we need to focus our help, our attention, our outreach, our testing. If you need a test, there are tests available. If you're not feeling well, please stay home. Please self-quarantine. Please stay safe. Keep your family safe. Keep yourself safe. Keep our community safe. Let's dampen down the spread of COVID-19 so we can open up the rest of our city, go back to work, put our community back in a strong place. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later this week. Take care.